So is this your bedroom?
Yes. When we first used to open the windows, we used to get this foul smell. A bit like metal, petrol, tar. I mean, everybody tells us, oh, it's safe, you know, but how safe is it? I don't know what it's doing to me, and I don't want to become sick.
Are you aware of the old gasworks development?
Behind those houses there.
Something.
Yeah,
it
do you
was
ever-
smell.
do you
Yeah,
ever-
it was smell.
Horrible smell makes you sick. It smells like gas.
Like gas? Yeah.
When they were digging.
Yes. Clean air for Southall. Because it's an old gasworks, the soil's contaminated with things like benzene and naphthalene.
There's no such thing as too much of clean air. You put pollution into the air, people are going to get sick. Like, that is a standard. That is just a truth.
A couple of people in these houses
Yeah.
that are unwell. Children got asthma, chest problems, breathing problems. There's many families suffering from asthma. There's people living in oxygen tents, children.
To date, there hasn't been any investigation into the health impacts. Really, what we are seeing is potentially a ticking time bomb. Hi, hello, how are you?
How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. Come on in.
Thank you.
I have the high-vis jackets for later on. So it's Stop Poisoning Southall. These were really positive when we were out campaigning, stopping members of the public, handing out leaflets, telling them about what was going on. So yeah, it was really good to kind of like have a very strong, visible presence. Clean air for Southall. Hello, do you live in Southall? Do you get the smell from the old gasworks? No? Aren't you lucky? How did I get involved? It started as a conversation between myself and a neighbour. Do you know about the odour from the site? It's still ongoing. We're still suffering very badly. We noticed on social media that people were complaining about the smell, and of more concern, people were saying, I'm suffering headaches, nausea, vomiting. So it kind of just snowballed from there. Hello, hello, hello. Bumped into a few people. Yeah. A couple of people I know, so that was good. I think for me, I get angry, but I feel that I like having a voice.
Do you mind not using it as a bulletin board?
I'm a local resident. Can I make a comment, please?
Why don't
Are
you
you
like-
muting me as a local?
No, you're very welcome to draw your vision of what you think Southall could look like.
And I think it's just obscene and outrageous that Ealing Council, who is the regulatory authority, is standing by and allowing people to be poisoned in their homes.
Very bad smell since Sunday evening, 9:30. Then I've got another note saying heavy petrol, chemical, plastic smell. We've just found after possibly a year and a half to 2 years while they were working, slowly that certain things were starting to happen to the family. My sister was here for nearly 7-8 months, and in August she got diagnosed with cancer. My father just went for a routine scan in January, and our life spiraled out of control and we found out he had cancer. I can't for 100% say that the site is, the cause of it. I don't know, but we've been breathing that air in. I don't know if it's had an impact.
As a council, we are aware of the concerns raised by individual residents and members of the group Clean Air for Southall and Hayes Cash. The treatment of contaminated land at Southall Waterside, the old gasworks site, has resulted in some unpleasant odours in the area. Air quality monitoring has taken place on site, and the results show that there is unlikely to be a risk to the long-term health of the nearby population from the chemicals detected. Mr. Bangu.
That's what the scientists say, cancer.
Sorry, you talked about unlikely. It was unlikely that I was going to fall ill with chest pains, but I did. For a year and a half, I couldn't walk more than 50 to 100 yards without stopping. My friend's children's ended up in hospital. It's unlikely that we're going to fall ill 6-7 times a year, but they did.
I mean, you sit there and you say it's unlikely to cause any effect. I don't know. Are you happy with that? That you're unlikely to die?
I want it in writing from
You
you. I
know,
want it in writing.
I've lived in Southall for 49 years. I've lived in the same house with my mum. In 2018, she started having breathing problems, right? She was diagnosed with having lung cancer that started in her airways. She breathed in this muck, this rubbish, these toxins, all through the time that this work was being done. Can you categorically tell me that those fumes didn't contribute to her death?
I couldn't because I'm not a medical or a scientist.
But the scientists said it could.
Don't brown Black Lives Matter? Ain't I human? Isn't my blood red like yours? Why are you showing us that you really don't give a damn about the residents of Southall?
I absolutely do, Kat, and if I thought there was something more I could do, I would be doing it. You know, if I had a solution that was going to make the majority of people in this room happy, of course, it's innate in us to want to deliver that. And every life matters in this case.
It seems like the authorities just don't care that we're being poisoned. As far as they are concerned, it's all within regulatory limits. That Berkeley Group are going above and beyond requirements. But when people are saying that they have symptoms that are the same symptoms for benzene poisoning and naphthalene poisoning, I don't think these symptoms should be dismissed.
Southall is within the top 10% of the most deprived areas in London. Deprivation is highly linked with chronic stress. So we already knew from the big data that you guys are already a very susceptible community. That should have been one of the first things that PHE or the environmental agency should have done, is understood you guys first as a community, understood that you guys were in a very susceptible zone for health-related issues due to air pollution, and brought those recommendations down and been very, very conservative. So if you think of your response system as a scale, you were already like this. So what we're arguing is that any burden that comes in does that to your system. This is an extra burden.
All right, yeah, you can.
This is shrunk. Oh dear. There's all different sizes in there. Yes, there's large, extra large, and extra. Well, no, they haven't shrunk because.
This is extra large.
Here comes Angela.
So what we're going to do today is introduce you to some people who are unwell. How the families have been suffering for the last 5 years. Shall we?
Yes, please. Yeah, we'll follow you.
Along here, they've all complained. And I think the third house, they've actually got, his father used to go for long walks in the morning while the construction was going on, and he actually passed away with pneumonia. He got
Pneumonia?
Yeah.
So that's the third case that I know of.
Of course.
Yeah.
How's your health?
Yeah.
And I can't go out because the dirt.
From the gasworks?
Yeah. 2 years ago, when it was summer,
Yeah.
heat wave,
Yeah.
open the windows.
Yes.
I phoned them up, the dirt is coming. They told me, why don't you close your windows?
Where did, if you don't mind me asking, where did the cancer start? In your lung or?
Lung.
Yeah.
In your lungs?
Yeah, from lung, then from my mouth, and from the...
Exactly the same as my mum.
My wife's had a lot more headaches recently when we've seen work happening over there.
Psychologically, what do you think's been the impact on this community?
In all honesty, I want to get away from here as soon as I can, and that's in my way.
Really?
Yep.
Do you feel it's pushing you out of Southall?
It is, yeah. I was born and raised here. I've lived in this house when I was born. I'm literally just up the road over now. So 34 years I've been living on this road, but I don't want to be in this area anymore with the way it is, with the way it's developing. So.
We feel a smell, like, it directly hit my brain. What I would say, I cannot explain in words, but it is very weird. When I smell this, it impacts, it's psychological fear, I would say.
Yeah.
My
this
wife
house has a medical form.
Hello.
From the December, she started to have some lack of oxygen. She couldn't breathe, she couldn't respond, she couldn't move, She couldn't ask me, and then we have to call the ambulance. They came and took her with the oxygen mask, and they give a lot of things to recover. She was vomiting a lot, had a head pain, and like this 3 times. Well, I started to do my searches quickly because we didn't have another episode of this, and I found the hyperobatic oxygen therapy. It's a chamber who gives the oxygen, 100% oxygen. 1.5 hours every day, 5 days a week.
Would you like to move?
We have to do something.
Yeah, we have to do something
but
because
still think,
this is too dangerous.
yeah,
Really.
I want some safe place to live.
The thing is, you can't prove it 100%, but it's my own personal view is that you know, people were not suffering from these illnesses before. Maybe they still would have developed it without the waterside development being there. But how do you know 100% this hasn't caused it?
Even if it hasn't caused someone's cancer, it's just so immoral for somebody who is dying to be in their home and to endure the indoor air pollution, the stench. So their home, where they should be able to pass away in comfort, becomes like a prison. Do you think most of these have been sold now?
No, they're empty. Look, they're empty.
Looks like a concrete jungle.
When was the last time we saw you?
Before coronavirus, when we were still able to go door knocking and speaking to residents about their experiences. But obviously, the lockdown had a massive impact on our ability to campaign. So much of what we did was actually online. We are here today to put our demands that the air quality monitoring strategy must be in place, and there must be a proper investigation of the health crisis in Southall before the next phase of the development takes place.
I've spoken to many doctors, and a lot of people have died in this area.
And the concern you think is the links to air pollution?
Of course. I mean, we've got cancer on our street. There's many families suffering from asthma, children suffering from asthma.
The reality is we live in an area that is very economically deprived. You can't see it, but people live in overcrowded accommodation. Quite frankly, I'm black. If I lived in an affluent area, in a nice spacious home, somewhere in the county of Surrey, my risks of contracting COVID would be lower. And we are concerned that the combination of coronavirus and the air pollution is going to lead to even more deaths.
Did anything positive come from lockdown, the pandemic?
The one thing that I would say is really illustrated by the pandemic is the sense of community. And we are still determined. My attitude is, I'm not going anywhere. Do I die quietly or do I die fighting? I know which option I'm choosing.